Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules in joining us today for this exclusive webinar with the Third Faculty of Medicine at Charles University. Today's webinar will go on for 1 hour. In the first 20 to 30 minutes, we will have a presentation about the university, and then we'll move on to the Q&A session where we'll be answering your questions. So you can hold your questions off towards the end of the presentation. Today we have Professor David with us from Third Faculty of Medicine. And over to you, Professor David.
So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Marks. I'm the Vice Dean for Undergraduate Education and Student Affairs of the Third Faculty of Medicine, Charles University in Prague. Together with me in the room, show her by changing the camera, is Ms. Teresa Svoboda, working in our study division and responsible for the recruitment of students into the English curriculum. I'd like to introduce you to our university, to our medical school. Please feel free to keep your questions to the end when we'll be both happy to answer them. So just a second. That's not it. So can you see now the presentation?
You can see it.
Okay, so let's do it. Can you see it still?
Yes.
So this is Prague. Prague is a beautiful city. This is Prague Castle. Prague has a lot of historical sites, and one of them is the university. The Charles University has been founded in 1348. And right since the beginning, it did have a medical school. Then the original medical school has split into three that are now named first, second, and third medical school. Here you can see this is the historical building of the university. However, our medical school is much more modern. The buildings serving for studying theoretical subjects. The front of them you can see here, and the faculty is affiliated by three other university hospitals in the city. One of them is directly close to our building. What are we offering? Well, as you know, or maybe not, as a European Union member state, we are obliged to teach standardized content of medical studies so that the degree that you get after the 6 years is recognized in the whole European Union immediately. And other than that, Charles University degrees are recognized in 185 countries in the world. We are a slightly smaller university. In each year, we have around 300 students of general medicine, and 1/3 of them, that is 100, studies in English. What differs us from the other medical schools is that we have implemented the undergraduate teaching model based on how they teach in Maastricht, Munich, and the University of Cambridge. And the model is integrated and problem-based. I'm going to explain it later on. We do have a very strong research part, and many students participate in their research during their undergraduate years. That helps them a lot in seeking the placement after graduation, especially in Canada, US, and in the Anglo-Saxon countries. Our medical school provides a very strong support to our students. We'll get to it as well. And the final information is about tuition fee. Our tuition fee is 420,000 Czech crowns, which is approximately 17,000 euro. There are some scholarships as from the second year, but these scholarships are only up to 10% of the tuition fee, which is relatively in the lower part if we compare it with other medical schools in this area. If we look at how medical teaching has developed, we have to start in the medieval times. This is a picture of a medieval doctor fighting plague, fighting death. And you can see that the doctor doesn't have a lot of instruments to fight plague, because the medical knowledge there was very limited. Teaching at medical schools was just reading around aloud from books. In 1781, surgeons were admitted to teach at the medical schools, and then was the launch of the reform of teaching of medicine, when the theoretical subjects are taught in the lower years and you proceed to the clinical ones. This is not enough for modern medicine. Modern medicine has very powerful tools how to treat patients, powerful and risky, but it also has a lot of information, and the limit into which to study is still the 6 years. So first the medical schools in the United States and in Europe started to develop integration and connecting individual subjects, so that we would manage to teach all the necessary information without the necessity to extend the length of studies. Apart from study integration, when, for instance, the whole first year students are taught everything about the cell biochemistry, the cell biology, the cell anatomy, immunology, and so on, and they are subsequently tested in one large subject called cellular basis of medicine. This teaching is closely connected to clinical activities, so students are exposed to patients as early in the first year. For instance, when they are taught metabolism of glucose, there is a young diabetic coming to the class and describing his problems. So then you can interpret them based on the knowledge you have. In Introduction to Clinical Medicine is a subject that is taught in the first 2 years, where students are assigned their patient. In the first year, a long-term care patient or a child with a handicap. In the second year, an acute patient, just to observe the care provided and to understand the different level of communication with patients. The second pillar that is integrated in our teaching is teaching medical ethics, so that students understand what does it mean to be a doctor and what are the ethical risks, and also public health and medical law as an essential part of future clinical practice. Just for an illustration, this is the description of the first 2 years. I have described the first one. This is the big subject, cellular basis of medicine, called also the cell. This approach also helps us to allow students to adapt to university studies. So it's not so hard as studying anatomy straight away. So we give them time to train how to study for their university requirements, so that when they enter the second year, where in the second year there's a big subject called structure and function of human body, where we teach anatomy together with physiology, meaning practically the same week students are taught about the anatomy of the heart, and at the same week physiologists tell them how the heart works, and biochemists about how is blood oxygenated. So these are the 2 big subjects of the first and second year. A part of that I already mentioned: Introduction to Clinical Medicine, physics, medical ethics, public health. Czech is taught without, because the whole program is in English. So Czech is taught just for basic understanding with patients. However, many patients speak English. and if not, teachers provide translation services to students. So this is the main part of the first year is in laboratories. In the following 2 years, we continue with integrating pathology and pathophysiology, and slowly the more clinical subjects are being taught, such as hematology, oncology, X-ray. There are many clinical placements, summer practices, which students spend either in their own country or in the Czech Republic. These are our student or English-speaking students. The flags are not all of them. We do have students from more than 60 countries, and we want to have a good mix. That means we don't want to have a majority, for instance, 80% from one country, and there is a sensible mix of 15 to 20 students from those are the bigger groups from different countries. If you want to, you can look at our website that shows the numbers per country. The last 2 years are more traditional for clinical rotations in clinical disciplines such as otorhinolaryngology, ophthalmology, but specifically the basic subjects as internal medicine, pediatric surgery, OBGYN, neurosciences, that's neurology and psychiatry, and public health are taught. The studies are finished by undergoing final exams and graduating as a medical doctor here in the historical building of the university. Here you can see this is the statue of Emperor Charles IV, the founder of the university. And this is the oath, and students become doctors. Just to follow details about teaching medical ethics. Medical ethics is taught for 6 years. Always it is tied to the subjects that, the clinical subjects that are taught. So for instance, in the second year where we teach anatomy and physiology, it's a lot about ethical behavior to the dead body, autopsies, and so on. Then if we teach mother and child health, it's ethics of the beginning of life. Part of our teaching is spent in projects. One of the projects is visiting Auschwitz Museum in Poland, offer a course about medical crimes of the Holocaust. So showing students that it's not enough to have a degree to be a good person. There is a wide range of subjects that students select based on their priorities. Either it is because they already know they want to specialize in clinical discipline, so this selection gives them additional information, but also it's like fun elective courses such as physical education, drama, and so on. By law, 5% of the classes have to be elective. For the clinical placements, you can either stay in the country or go home. There is a lot of possibilities for international placement supported by the university or by the European Union. Every year we have a student research conference where students present their results. And I am proud to say that many of our students have published results during before graduation, which is an important issue, specifically if you want to work in countries like the United States, Canada, Ireland. Having a published paper adds a lot of positive points. Studying medicine is not easy, so we focus on supporting our students, especially in the first year. In the first year, students are divided into groups, study groups. Each group has around 15 students, and there is an academic tutor that helps them to adapt and supports them in need. And also there's a student tutor, which is a student from the upper year, from the second year. He or she helps them by some tips on studying and also providing the social aspect of adaptation. As the only medical school in the country, We have a student support phone line. It's a non-stop hotline. Either myself or one of my team picks it any time of the day and night to support students in need of health issues, some deterioration of health, visa issues, administrative issues, or mental health problems. For standard healthcare provision, we have a designated general practitioner for our English-speaking students, and the whole university hospital provides specialized care. Frequent question is about accommodation. The university has dormitories, dorms. They differ in quality. It's like 1 star to 4 star, and the price you can see on the slide on the average is 200 to 300 euro per month. Many of our students, starting the second year, select to live in private accommodation. The prices are higher, but so is the comfort. Oops. Yeah, so this is my tutor group on a trip. Students are also active in their student guild. They have a big organization, student union called TriMet. They organize activities for freshmen. So there is a retreat when you will succeed in your entrance exams and you look pretty intelligent, so I'm sure you will. We start in September by a 4-day retreat where you meet your future peers that will be studying in your study group, and there's some ice-breaking activities. Then there's a welcome party organized by the student union. There are many sport activities. The biggest of them is Dean's Day, where we have a big match in Quidditch. But also our student union has football club, baseball club, floorball, ice hockey. We have 3 student choirs. There's a lot of student charity, for instance, teaching children first aid. There's a group of students that provides healthcare to the homeless, many others. 3 times per year, a group of students goes to Africa, to Kenya, and works there in a charity hospital. So this is what also we have a group of students that are interested in working with children that provide support and peer support to children who have been victims of child abuse. There's also a university for children where students teach in English, teaching schools in Prague, first aid, for instance. So this is the freshman, this is the initial retreat. You see that students are given the same color of t-shirt so that they know which group they belong to. The welcome party, an annual ball, students organize it for themselves. This is the Quidditch match. You see they can fly on their broomsticks. This is from Africa. It's the University for Children. Yeah, and this we are very much looking forward to seeing you at our university. The entrance exams will be held in Dubai, and Quadri will tell you the date. The deadline by the end of March. The entrance exams are first part is written test in biology, chemistry, and physics. We do offer a Zoom meeting. I think it's on the 3rd of April for those interested, where you can meet the authors of the tests, and they will not tell you the detailed content, but they will tell you which areas to focus on when preparing for the test, and they'll be ready to answer questions. So it's these 3 tests, each has 30 questions. Only one answer is single best, so one answer is correct. And based on your results in the test, then there is an interview. It's a motivational one where you are discussing some ethical topics, explaining why you want to study medicine, and also you get a short text in English to interpret. So why to come to our university? So first of all, it's the integrated studies. It does not only make the studies more effective for the teachers, but from a didactical point of view, it's easier to study when you know what is the reason for gaining the information. It makes more sense when the topics are mixed together, and we show you straight from the beginning what sense does it make for your clinical practice. It's actually that's why most of the universities in developed world, the medical schools, proceed to this type of teaching. The teaching is physiologic, so we don't kill you in the first year by too much information straight ahead. We prepare you gradually to be able to tolerate study burden. We want to prevent any premature terminations given by the feeling of students that they are overwhelmed. There's a lot of students from our other countries you can meet, but also as a part of your studies, you can visit other countries in Europe, Germany, Portugal, Spain, France, based on these exchange programs. Most of those applicants that want to go to a medical school want to become doctors. That is why we expose our students as early as in the first year to clinical practice, to see how a hospital works, to understand what does it mean for a patient or his or her family to be severely handicapped or to have a chronic disease. Student research is an exciting part of our studies. It's not obligatory, but it's highly recommended. I spoke about the robust student support that we provide again to help you to adapt to studying abroad and studying medicine. That's not easy. But mainly, we have a very supporting community. You won't ever be alone. So I hope that this makes sense and that you will have a lot of questions, and mainly that we will have the opportunity and honor to see you at our entrance exams and specifically over the following years. You can contact me directly. Naturally, Dr. Quadri's agency has all the information, all the background materials that they can provide, or you can find them on our website. So that's it from me. I'll stop sharing now, and I think now there's a time for questions.
Thank you, Professor David, for that very informative presentation. So let's move on with the Q&A session now. Students, you can type in your questions in an icon. It's at the center bottom of your screen. We've already got a couple questions pouring in, so let's begin. Majid wants to know, is the dentistry course offered in English?
We don't teach dentistry, we only teach general medicine. There are other medical schools such as Olomouc, Pilsen, and First Medical Faculty that teach dentistry.
Yeah. Sudat wants to know, can you please tell the difference between Charles University First Faculty and Charles University Third Faculty?
The first faculty, well, there are no and there cannot be any differences in the content of the curriculum. That's the European law, that the total number of hours and subjects has to be the same. First medical faculty teaches in the traditional way, the studies are not integrated. They have much more students, so that does not allow them to focus so much on individual student support. But the main difference is in the structure of studies that are traditional, from anatomy to the clinical disciplines. But and naturally with a much higher number, 3 times as much students in a year, it's harder to individualize teaching. But the content of the curriculum has to be, the sum has to be the same. How many years does it take to finish studying medicine was the next question. 6.
Yeah.
The 6
Okay.
years.
We have a question by Sohail. Is there negative marking in the entrance test?
Oh, no. There is no.
All right. Next question by Adam. What are the specific entry requirements for medicine for IB curriculum? And could you please elaborate a little more on the entrance exam?
The possibilities to be admitted without entrance exams, just based on international baccalaureate or based on the SAT results, are specified on the website. In the international baccalaureate, it's 90% overall score, provided that chemistry, biology, and physics or mathematics are included. As for the entrance exams, just in points, there is a written test in biology, chemistry, and physics or mathematics. Students can choose whether they write physics or mathematics. The basic requirements, the fields, and also the tests from the last year are published on our website. There is 3-hour interval to write these tests, and the cutoff at present, I think it's 50 points, something like that, 55 points maybe. Again, it's on the website, and so it's like a little bit over 50%. And based on your results in the test, you are the same day invited for an interview, and following your interview, we can tell you whether we offer you a place or not.
Okay. Next question is by Nancy. Nancy wants to know how much is the passing rate for the first year, as she's heard that it's little difficult.
Oh, not so much. We have fail rate is around 15 to 18%, but that does not mean that these students are terminated. They just repeat the subject or repeat the year. In the second year, it is around 6%, and that fail the year, but again, they can repeat it. And overall student success rate or graduation rate is 78 to 81% succeeds. And you have to keep in mind that some of them will not graduate because they get sick or they get pregnant and they graduate much lower. So 80% is the overall success rate.
All right. Nuran wants to know, are there certain A-level subject requirements?
Again, this is described in detail on the website. If you have, but it's only for those students that want to skip entrance exams. For the entrance exams, there is no specific requirement.
Okay. Majid wants to know, is it 17,000 euros per semester or per year?
Per year.
Right. We have another question for the requirements, so we're going to skip that. As Professor David said, we can check the website, and of course, you can contact us as well. We'll be assisting with the requirements in the application. We have a question by Sohail. What is the term back policy? Suppose if a student fails a semester, will she? Yeah. So this was already answered by Professor David that they will reset. Yeah. We have a question by Abel. Do you recognize UCAS points as a European university?
Again, only for the admission without entrance exams. Overall, like UCAS points as a part of the secondary school or high school degree are naturally recognized.
Okay. Nahum wants to know, maybe you have the application link to start applying and when should we provide the application? All right, so I think we can answer that. Nahum, for the application and for the entrance exam, you can contact our office. I will be dropping in our chat and in the chat our contact number as well as our email. The application deadline is also close by, so you can contact us and we can definitely assist you with that. Omar wants to know, can we get the recording of this meeting? Omar, you can contact us. The webinar is being live streamed on YouTube as well. Srishti wants to know, what is the difference between teaching at your university compared to the others?
Well,
I think this
again,
was also part me.
yeah, I already have answered this question.
Okay.
The main difference is in the structure of the individual years, which is much closer to the way of clinical thinking in practice.
Right. Krishna wants to know if they have done foundation and science, what's the CGPA they should achieve out of 4 for the first year of medicine?
I'm not really sure if I understand the question, but
Okay, can I just answer this question? Okay, first of all, foundation is I mean, first of all, when have you finished your foundation? Because foundation is meant for a particular university. Yeah, I mean, again, university. Some of the universities have got their own foundation, and some of them they just prepare you for the foundation. So Charles University third faculty also prepare you for year one, but again you have to take the entrance examination after completing this one. So foundation does not guarantee, and you have to fulfill the requirement of the academic, because there are some foundation where the entry requirement is very low. It's not a high school for example British system. Some of them just finish their I mean O levels and do the foundation and then expect that it can replace that one academic. It cannot be replaced. It has to be a full high school, 12 years of schooling, either American high school diploma, IB, or British too. So foundation cannot replace with the traditional academic qualification. Please go ahead, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question by Shri. Shri wants to know what are the post-graduation opportunities in English? What are the chances of getting accepted in PG after the completion of the MD in Charles?
postgraduate training is not provided by university in English. It's actually it's not provided by any university because postgraduate training is taught in Czech, and it's the hospitals are responsible for it. If you are asking about PhD opportunities, yes, we do provide PhD opportunities in all the clinical disciplines, and that's taught in English.
Okay. Next question is by Pritesh. What are the admission requirements for a CBSE and is the NEET exam required or accepted instead of the entrance exam?
Uh-uh.
All right. Nancy wants to reconfirm. So the results are out on the same day as the entrance exam?
Yes.
Wissam wants to know, are students required to have to do 1 year internship after the graduation, or is it integrated within the 6 years at the university?
Well, actually, it's integrated into the 6 years, 6 year of the university, but this is part of the specialization training. So this differs country by country. Some countries impose one internship year or foundation year for all the medical graduates. But if you're possibly asking based on the UK system, and with regards to the UK system, it's included in the 6 year.
All right. Next question by Ben. When does the application process start and when is the deadline for applying? Maybe Dr. Kazi can help us with that.
Yes, as we mentioned that 30th of March is the deadline. So please contact our office as soon as possible because the entrance examination will be in April. So please call our office, send us your documents, and we will register you for the for the entrance examination.
All right. Next question is by Majid. What is a failing grade and what is counted as a good grade?
I spoke about the failing rate. The overall is 80%. Grade is 90th or 95th percentile.
Okay. Mohammed wants to know what is the acceptance of the degree like in other countries, for example, India.
Yeah, India recognizes as 185 countries in the world, so it's actually all the countries.
Okay. Adam wants to know if they plan to study in the US in the future. Do they need any sort of equivalency?
Any foreign graduates have to undergo USMLE, United States Medical License Examination. We do have a very high success rate in USMLE, and actually the curriculum is structured in such a way that by the 4th year you are very well prepared, at least for step 1.
Okay. This answers part of Peter's question as well, if they're eligible for the
Both
USMLE,
parts,
which is
both,
correct.
both, PAP and USMN, yes.
Okay. Where can we find? Okay, Naham wants to know where can we find the application link again, Naham. For the application, you can contact us. We'll be assisting you with that. Nancy wants to know what about the residency program? Can they do it in the same university or they have to pass the language test first?
Medical residencies in Europe are coordinated by the Ministries of Health, and to work in a hospital, you have to pass a Czech language test.
Okay, so this answers part of Shree's question as well. For foreign students, is learning Czech mandatory to secure a job for PG studies? And will the faculty be conducting any language sessions?
Yeah, well, the Czech classes are focused on undergraduate studying to understand patients. Those that want to stay in the country and want to go for the Czech test do have additional possibilities, and the university provides this possibility of these elective Czech language classes. Also, the fact that you are staying in the country helps you to learn the language.
Okay. Nahum wants to know, can a student transfer to the university as well?
Yes, the conditions are on our website.
All right. Ban wants to know, do the students have to prove Czech language proficiency at any point?
Not during the undergraduate studies.
All right. So here wants to know, is it true that if they get good results in the A levels, do they still have to take the entrance exam or do they get exempted?
Again, it depends on the type of the A-level exam and on the scores, AAAs or AABs, and it's in the subjects of the entrance exams, biology, chemistry, and physics or mathematics. For details, look at the website.
Shujat wants to know, why is there a difference between the fees of the first faculty and third faculty?
We actually, for us, this is not like teaching students is not the main source of income. This is just calculations that are made on comparing sensible costs. Also, we do have some possibilities to support the students, like whole student body financially. So we consider this as a sensible tuition fee.
Okay. Adam
Again,
wants to know what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I must say that the content has to be the same. So if you are asking if we teach less, we must not teach less. The numbers of classes and their quality is standardized. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. Next question is by Adam. What is the percentage of residency for Maastricht alumni in Europe?
Well, actually, Europe doesn't have a similar match as the United States, but we collect data on our alumni and their professional success. Actually, worldwide, there is lack of doctors, so each of our graduates is employed, and most of them are in the subject of their preference.
All right. Nagam wants to know how much is the fees to apply.
That's for you, because that goes via the agency.
Well, I mean, it is mentioned you can contact our office, but it is normally 950 dirham only. That's all.
We have a question by Janavi where we covered half of it, where they're asking about the language eligibility required for admissions, which we cleared that it's not. Next question, part of that question is, are there any scholarships provided?
Yes, there are scholarships based on the results of the previous years, so it starts in the second year. But as I said before, the scholarships are not structured so that they will cover the whole tuition fee. They cover a little bit between 5 to 10% of the tuition fees.
All right. Majid wants to know, what is the exam schedule like? How often do the students have exams?
These main exams are only scheduled for 2 exam periods after each semester. So it's January and June, but there are many minor tests, especially in the first and second years. They are small tests and they're held every 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay. Nancy wants to know what if a student wants to apply for the Czech passport?
For nationality, well, that depends on whether you have parents, Czechs, or if it's like starting from scratch. If it's starting from scratch, you have to stay in the country and work there or study there. The limit is 5 years, but for students, it's multiplied by 2.
All right. We have last question by Adam. Is the importance of the exam equivalent to the interview?
No, the test is like the main weight lies on the test results.
Okay. Another question by Hamid. What's the success rate of the application process and the chances of job after the completion of the program?
Uh, that depends. Each agency has different. Overall success rate is around 1 to 4. 1 in 4 succeeds, but there are big differences between agencies because of the support of the agencies. But all in all, it's 1 to 4.
Okay. Again, a question by Pritesh. Can the students apply for the Czech citizenship after the degree?
Yeah, but the degree itself is not a guarantee. This is guided by the length of stay in the country and knowledge of the language. This is a pan-European regulation.
A follow-up to his question is, what about the medical license and the medical licensing exam?
Again, medical licenses are guided by national laws. So after graduation, you immediately get a medical license for all European countries. For countries outside Europe, you do get your degree is recognized, but some countries require some additional tests or trainings.
Right. Question by Nancy.
Yeah, about the
Which
early
is
education. Yeah, they can, but yeah, they can do that if they study really hard. They can.
okay. Um, Hamid wants to know what are the likely courses available for art students. I think this is the wrong faculty for that.
Actually, you are a student of Charles University, so you can attend any course in any faculty, including the Faculty of Arts. So it's a huge selection for courses that can be taken there.
Okay. With that being said, I think we've answered more than 50 questions. If there's anything else, because there's no more open questions, if there's anything that we've missed out or if your question was not answered, you can always contact us. Um, Azza is again asking, okay, Azza, we've answered this 3 times now. What's the difference between the first, second, and third? This may have been previously answered, but she was having internet issues at the beginning of the webinar and she apologizes.
The main aspects of studying the third is more physiologic studies, so gradual increase in the demand and the severity of teaching. Also integration of studies, more and early contact with clinical practice. And we are a smaller faculty, so it's so much easier to individualize.
Right? Let's just answer one last question by Adam. Is IELTS needed? Because they've got a good grade in it as well.
Well, I don't understand. Can you go back to it, please?
Is the IELTS English proficiency test required?
Oh yeah, no, they are not. Just knowledge,
Alright.
because you are writing the test in English. So actually, if you don't know the language, you won't be able, or if you won't know it correctly, you won't be able to pass the test, and then we are assessing your knowledge of the language during the interview. But no formal
Okay.
test required.
Mhm. With that being said, again, our contact details are mentioned in the chat box. You can contact us for the application to register for the entrance exam as well. The application deadline is the 30th of this month. So just a reminder to submit your applications early. With that being said, we've answered all the open questions, and this is where we will be ending the session as well. Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Professor David and Mr. Lisa, for joining as well.
Thank you, Professor David. Thank you, Teresa Kente. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hope to see you, some of you soon.